Hey everyone, it's Alex, and welcome to the Marvel Snap Decks of the Week. I know that it's pretty much a meme at this point that I always say, this week we're doing things a little differently. We actually got 12 decks this week because we have a meta shell that's very popular that we need to talk about. We got something for the Ancient One, and then we have the statistical top 10 according to Untap-based statistics. We're using only statistics from Infinite and above, and we're also ranking them by win rate, and then when you have a similar win rate, we rank them then by cube rate to give you a ranked order. If you'd like to support this content, hitting that like button helps tremendously, guys. As we get started with the bonus deck number 12, and we're starting with number 2, and this is Merc Cannonball, which it's Mercury and Cannonball. I don't know what else to call it, but anyways, it's running a 54% win rate in a 0.26 cube rate. It's not enough to crack the top 10, but a lot of people have been asking specifically about this deck and Mercury, and Cozy and I will be discussing Mercury, Hellion, and everything else in the upcoming Snapchat. But just so you guys know, this deck, which is incredibly popular right now, is only running a 54% win rate and a 0.26 cube rate. So statistically, there are better decks out there right now. Now this can be, it sticks out because you have the Negasonic and you have the Destroy combination with Cannonball Mercury, of course. You have the Alliath. It has a lot of like FU cards, which I think is the reason why it's kind of sticking in people's minds. It had a 70 to 100 game sample size, so a very large sample size for this win rate. And so I just want to showcase this as a bonus deck because I know that a lot of people are interested in this deck. But I'm telling you, we have some better performers from an actual statistical standpoint. But this one's pissing people off. I mean, if you look at it, it's literally just non-stop piss-off cards. Gladiator, Red Guardian, Janchi, Negasonic, Mercury, Cannonball, and then, of course, the Toxic Arrow. There's just so much to upset you here. And let's say you're just not that upset, and you're like, you know what, Alex, I'm not that angry. I kind of just want to get my weekend mission done. I don't want to just run Airsham with the Ancient One. This is currently the top performing Ancient One deck. It's running a 55% win rate and a 0.26 cube rate. This is a Victoria hand-based shell using Infinity Ultron. And Infinity Ultron recently got buffed, and as a result of that, I'm just excited to see a list that incorporates it alongside the Ancient One here. Obviously, Victoria Hand being a good target here. Gorgon really good in the meta. Great meta call right now, considering how impactful and how popular Thanos and Airsham are. So anyways, the Ancient One, this is kind of currently the best deck for it. That's going to round out our bonuses. Coming in at number 10, we have It's Morphin Time, and believe it or not, guys, this is actually the deck that I showcased on day 1 of Merlin. This was from my video here, and how do I know? Well, because it has Rhino in it, and we used Rhino in order to give a polymorph target while having that huge stats on the board. And the reason why it kind of floats back into the top 10 this week is because Gorgon is a very natural tech piece against a lot of the Thanos and Airsham that we're seeing here. Merlin works great with, Sentry's Void. Obviously, Circe works well there too. You can also flip the hood if you wish. Nihilus is a great option for clogging their side. And of course, this is the first deck and the only deck that we've ever had in the top 10 that uses Nicholas Scratch. I'll be honest with you, if you want to tech out Nicholas Scratch, he felt like a weaker piece of this list when I was testing and designing it. Maybe with Clay and some other stuff coming out in the future, maybe he has an opportunity to shine. What I found particularly fun, though, was the Bishops and the Sasquatches because of the amount of cards you're playing with Merlin, right? So it's good to see a deck of mine crack the top 10 again. I wasn't actually expecting this one to be a key performer. It isn't the top Merlin shell we'll be talking about today, but regardless, it's a really interesting, fun take on Merlin, and I'm glad it was ultimately successful. And it's proven to be a performer in the Infinite-only meta, so that's exciting for me, We cooked again, folks. We cooked again. We go to number 9 here, and it's going to be Loki Airsham. We are seeing a lot of Airsham, a lot of Thanos, but this particular deck is focusing on the Loki side. 57% win rate and a 57 cube rate, or 0.57 cube rate. It's just a good list. Now, this isn't the last time we're going to be talking about Airsham. Airsham is certainly making a comeback. And the thing that makes this deck so effective is, of course, the tech of Enchantress, because we still see a lot of Cerebro. Now, Cerebro doesn't make this top 10 list, but Cerebro is still very popular. I like the addition of Shadow King here, of course. Legion always as disruptive, as you can imagine. Very cute is Nomura. Nomura doesn't often make these decks. Nomura is in this particular shell. If you don't have Nomura, you can most certainly, honestly, the autofill kind of auto builder, I'm sure, will provide you with kind of something to exchange with. But it is kind of interesting to see what Nomura can do in a shell, because you can get a row particularly early with Airsham, eternally, of course, and usually you can set up your macro board state to take advantage of that. So it's It's basically just free stats. It's a very big stat stick, and you just have to play with her in mind. You can't just play Loki and Quinjet in the same lane and be like, oh, I forgot I have Nomura in here. You know what I mean? I like the cook. I like the addition. It's one of the reasons why I want to focus on this deck, because it's been a while since we've seen Nomura. And the next deck here is actually the highest cube rate we've ever had post-infinite in Marvel Snap ever since I've started doing these videos here, and it's Mr. Negative running a 57% win rate, and for the first time, a 1.08 cube rate. Now, I know you've seen massive cube rates in the past over 1, but those have always been in the bot section of the first week. This is not the first week. These are post-infinite stats only, so this thing is absolutely crushing. Guys, who's staying in 8 cube games against Negative? If Negative gets the pop-off, leave. Like, you don't stay. You do not win those games. I wonder if it's people like, I've got enchanters in my deck. I bet you I can catch them. I bet you I can. And then they're like, oh, I didn't catch them. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening out there, guys. But this is what untapped base statistics were showing at a pretty decent sample size into the like mid hundreds. By that I meant like 500 games, not like mid 150 or something. It's more than that. But anyways, Esme Cuckoo makes this deck, which is the most notable place that she's being played right now. And I love the idea that it is an Arnhem Nola deck. Those have been ones that I've sorely missed, and it's back. So anyways, Mr. Negative absolutely crushing it right now, which ultimately shouldn't be much of a surprise to anyone. That's going to take us to number 7, and number 7 is we have a bit of a string of Merlin decks here, and we have Merlin Tech running a 58% win rate and a 0.50 cube rate. This is a Merlin deck that focuses very much on the tech pieces that are inside it. You have a little bit of ramp with that Luna Snow to maybe sneak out a Legion quicker. I love the Kahori addition here, and honestly, I've been playing a lot of Kahori, specifically with the Ancient One, because I was playing a Devil Dinosaur version. I just like this deck a lot. I just think it's cool. It's not the highest performing version of Merlin, but it gives you a lot of options. And I think that in my testing with this particular shell, Juggernaut continues to be probably one of the best cards that nobody realizes. I might make the argument that Juggernaut might be one of the best cards in the game right now. That just gets, I don't want to say no respect, because obviously I think people respect Juggernaut. I just don't think you think Juggernaut is one of the best cards in the game. And if you're in a tournament or something like that, I feel like Juggernaut is a great ace in the sleeve. Like, oh yeah, you think you're gonna win? Boom, you're not, right? You know what I mean? Juggernaut, I think, is phenomenal right now in Snap. Despite the stats, just the disruption is really showcasing its capabilities. And that's at number 7. And as I said, we got more Merlin. Merlin Disrupt at a 58% win rate and a 0.60 cube rate. That's absolutely astronomical. Usually, remember, we usually say anything above 30 is great. Some of these decks are crushing from a cube rate perspective. And this is a really fascinating design. We have Merlin, of course, but most importantly, you have some disruption in the case of Fenris and Gladiator. You have the Shangers in there as well. You have the Enchantress, which is very valuable. And of course, you have the Galactic Gwenpool with go along with Mr. Sinister. Guys, Mr. Sinister, no, we're not playing C2. That ain't an error. Mr. Sinister legit making these decks because, listen, you're jacking them up pretty hard, man. You got the Surge, you got the Galactic, you got the Gwenpool. You're putting stats on Mr. Sinister for that 2 cost. And of course, Fenris is awesome. And Mobius and Mobius is doing a lot of work right now in the meta. And it's funny. I feel like he's a fair character, but I think he's starting to piss some people off too. Good old Mobius and Mobius pissing people off. But overall, I don't know, man. I think that this card is doing this deck is doing really well. And as I said, it's not even the last Merlin deck we're talking about here, because as we go to Agent Merlin, a 59% win rate and a slightly lower cube rate of 0.47. This is the most recent take of the Merlin base shells that utilizes Havoc, Agent Venom, and Bast. I personally love these decks. In this particular version, you do not have Kitty Pryde. Ironically, according to untapped base statistics, even with Angela, the Kitty Pryde version of the shell is currently outperforming this one. When I play this shell, Kitty Pride feels like a great fallback option. Like it feels like you're always able to play something with that 4 energy after you play Havoc on turn 4. But realistically, you might have a Demon Hood who you then flip with Merlin. And Merlin's providing you with those 1-cost spells that you can often sneak in with the Sage on turn 6 or whatever, right? So again, you usually play this deck in a way where you plan to play with 4 energy because you play down Havoc on turn 4 and he's always occupying 1 energy moving forward throughout the game. He gets absolutely massive, but you're operating with 4. So a spell and a Sage, a spell and Cassandra Nova, who's great right now, by the way, not just because it's a great target for Ancient Venom or Bast, but because you're playing against so much Airsham and Thanos. So anyways, in Red Guardian, obviously fantastic tech. Love this deck, definitely worth playing. Now this is a deck that we have known for the longest time has been a high performer, and it's Bounce Move. 60% win rate, 0.35 cube rate, it's a good one. But you know what? I know you're like, Alex, I'm just going to skip ahead here, bro. Like, I don't play Move. I don't care. And that's kind of the sad part. The play rate's really low. People don't really play it. I do know that the high echelons of MMR, people really rely on decks like this to, to rank up and get to top 10 infinite, stuff like that. And it's just not the type of play pattern people want to play with in Snap, straight up. And that's fine. That's fine, right? You're playing a game for fun. Don't play decks that aren't fun. But if you want to actually, like, you know what? This week I'm going to learn something different. Maybe play some Bounce Move because you'll probably get to infinite. You'll probably crush it. You'll probably rank up. Actually, no, I take that back. You'll probably crap your pants for a while. You'll probably play really poorly, and then you'll get somewhat better, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, man, I'm getting the hang of this, right? It kind of reminds me when I was first playing Phoenix Force. I love Phoenix Force. When I first started playing Phoenix Force, I was like taking super suboptimal lines, and then now when I play Phoenix Force, especially when I'm dialed in and I've been like, I got a couple practice games under my belt, it's like the Matrix for me. Like I see all the lines on turn 6 and 7. I'm like, bro, this game's easy. You know what I mean? So Bounce Move, I think it'll be a rough start for you is what I'm trying to say. But if you can commit to the learning, you probably got something good here. Now, that's going to take us into the top 3. That's number 6. What am I doing here? Top 3. We're going to destroy, guys, not a typo. Double check the stats. I was so happy, because I know there's a lot of you budget-centric gamers out there that don't have all the cards, and you're like, bruh, I never have something to play. Well, with Thanos making a comeback and, like, honestly, Destroy is legit a good kind of matchup here. Like, we're getting value out of just straight-up traditional Destroy. Now, this is the Deadpool Hulkbuster version of Destroy, so a little greedy on the Deadpool side. However, it's running a 61% win rate and a 0.57 cube rate post-infinite. With a decent sample size, man. It's crushing it. It's absolutely crushing it. This deck is legitimately doing very well right now. And I love to see stuff like this because if you're someone who has a low collection level and the meta's driving you nuts and you just want to do your thing, this is going to do exactly that. We do have a couple meta shells that are running Shadow King. Just keep that in mind. Shadow King munches down on Venoms and stuff like that, and obviously Deadpool as well. But overall, man, listen, this deck's crushing it. It's a great budget option for those of you that want to play some Marvel Snap but don't want to break the bank. And then now we move to our top 2. There are so many cards in this deck. You're generating so many cards in this deck. Airsham Thanos running a 61% win rate and a 0.61 cube rate. That's actually kind of funny. That's the second time this week, actually. We had like the numbers. We had a 57-57. Now we have 61-61. I digress. This deck's doing really good, man. It's doing phenomenal. And these massive, like, oh, I'm playing Airsham and Thanos together style decks are getting very popular, largely because of the tournament success that they've been seeing. And so we're seeing a lot of experimentation around them. And here we got a very fascinating kind of high-performing take on it. In my experience testing this deck, it is wild. It's wild, and obviously, you're getting those ace in the sleeves with something like an Airsham. You got the Quinjet. I love Infinity Ultron in this deck as well. And really, like you got a little bit of everything here. I think the thing that like really catches people off guard, even when they're playing against an Airsham player and they realize that, I feel like in testing Airsham and testing this deck specifically, hitting people with Goliath on turn 5, especially when you can kind of make a read on where they're going to play, often can be detrimental. It can absolutely destroy them. And Mockingbird feels like free real estate nearly all the time. You are fighting for space a little bit here, and you do got to be kind of cognizant of how you play Man-Thing alongside something like your Stones. But overall, love the deck. And it's just a crazy way to play Snap. It's literally like, RNG, take the wheel, take it from my hands type stuff. And man, the stats don't lie. Thanos and Arishem, Thanos still so good, even with the nerf to Time Stone. How many times have we been like, pour 1-0 for Thanos, they nerfed him, and then he just like doesn't leave and continues to destroy the meta. And that's going to take us to the number 1 deck of the week, guys. If you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button and all that YouTuber cringe stuff I'm supposed to say. But seriously, maybe just consider subscribing, hitting that like button, blah, blah, blah. Gambit Surfer, 61% win rate, 0.70 cube rate. We talked about this deck last week, and it's doing really well. It's according to Untapped, near the absolute top of the. It is the top. Not in play rate. For instance, Thanos Airship is seeing more play, but from an actual statistics standpoint, the cube rate on this is higher. This one here is running the Fenris Wolf combination alongside the Moonlight and obviously the Gambit. I love the idea of playing something like a Moon Knight, discarding the Proxima Midnight, having it come down. Oh, it's beautiful. Gambit, of course, loves to discard Proxima Midnight as well. It's just a fun list. You've got a lot of tech. You got a lot of disruption. Something like a Cassandra Nova Feast in the meta. Oh, you're playing Thanos and Arishem together? Get wrecked. You know what I mean? It's basically what happens with Cassandra Nova. And then you're able to, the fun thing, okay, of course I play the Surfer deck. One of the fantastic things about it is obviously you love the Fenris Wolf gameplay. However, what I really enjoyed was on turn 6, you play something like Cassandra Nova, and then you juggernaut a location you're winning. You shove everything over, and then you just trade them with the Cast Nova, right? I kind of like cutting Iron Patriot for Brood. Cut Iron Patriot for Forge. That's just me. That's just my cope. But statistically, this is absolutely crushing it. It's phenomenal. You can definitely rely on it to get to Infinite and climb those ranks. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. You guys honestly mean the world to me. Got another video for on the screen. I don't know, YouTube picked something random. So if you want to watch some more content, click that, and we'll see you on that next one.